Ray from Las Vegas. Our fifth-seeded bowler won 4 titles last year from Merriam, Kansas. Bryan Goebel. He'll face the 2-time PBA Player of the Year from Stockton, California, Walter Ray Williams Jr. That winner will meet our third-seeded player from Dallas, Chris Warren. In the semifinal game, we see 10-time champion from Milwaukee, Oregon, David Husted. And our tournament leaders, the 1991 PBA Rookie of the Year from North Fort Myers, Florida, Ricky Ward. That's our outstanding field of finalists for this afternoon's Pro Bowlers Tour telecast live from the Showboat Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Chris Schenkel along with Bo Burton. $200,000 total purse bout, and it's split up in a very interesting fashion too.
Well, Chris, they've come a long way since 1960 when first prize was $3,000. It's $37,000 this week, 19 for second, and so on. Down the line, $7,500 for fifth place, and we're ready for action. 2 of the best on the tour going at it in the opening match.
Both really are great champions. Bryan Goebel is the 5th seed. A field of over 200 that started here, and they're ready to go with that first game. The president of the Professional Bowlers Association is his opponent, Walter Ray Williams Jr. Goebel first. There's a man that bowled in every event last year. Bryan Goebel, 6 titles to his credit. Now Walter Ray is up, Bo, and to watch him is like watching the best in your sport.
Well, Norm Duke had a great year last year, but over the last 4 years, Walter has been the man to beat.
So after a frame in our first game here in Las Vegas, this Super Bowl weekend, we're even.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. with that crossover step, very much like we have in the bowling tip of the week this week. He comes straight back through. Watch the footwork as he drives the ball very straight on this right-hand lane down the second arrow, and that's the key. You can't hook it too much on the right.
So immediately applied the pressure to Bryan Goebel. Lives in a suburb of Kansas City. Merriam, Kansas. Even after 2.
Well, Goebel with a very deliberate type delivery. 6 steps. In fact, in the middle of his approach, he can decide what game he wants to play even. He's a very high backswing, comes straight through, and he's much more of a power player than Walter Ray, as emphasized by his 2 opening shots. He just rips the rack.
Six telecasts last year, he won 4. Now, Walter Ray Williams, who won $195,000 last year. Little 3-6 on the right lane of our championship pair.
Well, Walter going much straighter than Bryan Goebel towards the pocket. As you see him, almost a straight shot down the second arrow. The right-hand lane is going to be the key lane today. Walter drifts high, has the 3-6 spare in the right-hand corner.
Walter made 11 telecasts last year. A victory, 5 seconds, a third, a fourth, 3/5. A man that has 22 second-place finishes to go along with his 15 championships. Pin on the left.
Best shot of the match so far for Walter. He tripped the 4. The first 2 frames went high again in the third. Made the adjustment here in the 4th. Voted the best spare shooter on tour, and one of the reasons he shoots a lot of single pin spares because he's so accurate. If he makes this, he will trail by 13.
And of course, the winner of our first game will meet the smallest pro on tour, Chris Warren of Dallas. We'll be back in a moment. Yes, in Las Vegas. That's a familiar sight. Allison Kuntz and her mommy and daddy. Keep her in the bowling lanes.
Part of the capacity crowd. I think we had the largest crowd ever at the Showboat this year. When I walked in here on Wednesday, Chris, we had well over 1,000 people just watching the preliminary qualifying, partly because of the interest in bowling and partly because of kind of inclement weather. Now, Bryan Goebel up fourth frame. He's perfect through 3.
Uses the full approach. Ten-pin on the right lane. Oh,
About as good as he can throw it. He ripped the rack here in the second frame. He gets a little bit solid on this shot. 6-pin flies around the 10. Not much you can do about that, Chris. Just keep going to the well often enough, and you'll eventually get some water.
So very smooth. And that's what you'll see in the senior skins games, which follows us here on ABC. A lot of smooth swings.
Now, Bryan Goebel at 6 feet at 165 pounds uses the full approach. Now, he's going to drift a little bit to the left. He's going to start here, drift to this area, and then he's going to swing the ball out around the second arrow. Very powerful, methodical style.
I hit in the 3-6.
Good players usually make 2 mistakes. They don't make 1. That time, he did not drift far enough left on the approach. Here you go. Here's 2 mistakes. He drifts not far enough left on this crossover step, then hits inside his target and throws it a little too slow. The combination of 2 lets the ball drift high, the 3-6 spare.
Again, like Goebel, the full approach. Oh, why didn't that one come up?
This lane's been a mystery, Chris, for all the players in practice. And basically what happens is when they swing it wide, the ball hangs. As you see the ball get about 35, 40 feet down the lane, it kind of hangs in an oily spot. And if they try to point it up towards the pocket, it drifts high. So it's very touchy. I think this will be the key lane in the match play today.
Sleeper 8 went out. Next Saturday at 3, 2 Central, the Professional Bowlers Tour heads to the Lone Star State. 2-time defending champ Steve Hoskins eyes a Texas-sized purse at the Quaker Stake 250. That's next Saturday on the Professional Bowlers Tour, right here on ABC. After 3 spares, strike again for Walter Ray. Spare up now for Bryan Goebel. He is shooting in the 6th of our very first game. First 7 of the afternoon.
Goebel with the power to go around that little hang spot. Here you go. Here's an excellent shot of what's happening. Bryan Goebel starts the ball about the center of the lane, I'd say the 19th or 20th board, drifts it out to about the 3rd board, and goes around that little hang spot down there 40 feet on the lane. Walter Ray Williams Jr. does not have the power or the luxury to do that. It's going to be a close match.
Kelly Goebel, who is the mommy of Lauren, who is somewhere in the building. Saw her earlier. Bryan Goebel has picked the 49ers to win tomorrow's Super Bowl. He's from Kansas. We'll be back. Close first match. Bryan Goebel still leading by 12 over Walter Ray. 34th year that we've come here to the Showboat Lanes. Bo Burton has won here. He's down on one of the approaches talking to one of the field of 5, and he is the smallest man in the whole field. 241 started here. On Monday, the large game format, and it took an average of 225 to make the final 24. He needs this one. So now he trails by only 2 pins. Now the tiny guy and Bo.
Thank you, Chris. Pound for pound, the most powerful bowler on the tour, Chris Warren. The right-hand lane looks like it hangs a little bit, has been giving both the players a little trouble. What's your game plan?
Well, on the right-hand lane, I'm going to try to induce a little more roll to get it to break just a little bit quicker, because it seems to have a hang spot around 45 feet, right around the first arrow. So we're going to try to break the ball a little bit quicker and let it roll back faster.
All right, big guy. He's tough in the clutch, Chris, and he'll be up in the next match.
Right, and Walter Ray trying to add to his string of strikes is thwarted here with the 4-pin on the left lane. Didn't trip it. Now a bit to the right of center, cross lane. After double, Walter Ray has marked with a spare in the 8th frame of our first game. Bryan Goebel, $173,000 earned last year.
Key shot for Goebel right here, Chris. You don't often get Walter Ray in a position where you can get him down by more than 10 pins. 8th frame.
Tonight, it's a way out weekend on ABC. First, at 8/7 Central, Ben Savage, Terry Garr, and Sinbad star in the McDonald's Family Theater presentation, Aliens for Breakfast. Then, Sir David Frost hosts A Search for the Real Frankenstein, the untold story, followed by The Commish, all tonight on ABC.
Bryan Goebel liked that shot when he let it go, but it just kind of hung. He was trying to get up to the pocket, watch the ball delay in the break, and almost lead the 7-10 split as the 5-pin goes behind the 7, gets a break, knocks out the 7-pin, has the 10. If he makes the spare, he'll be going at a 225 pace. Walter Ray a possible 233.
All right, Walter Ray up in a hurry.
Walter has the tougher task between these two players on this championship pair. He has the power and the ability to go around, but he's decided to go with a straight shot, which has gotten him to the top 5 this week, and he needs to flush the pocket. Really wanted that one because he could have squeezed Bryan Goebel a little bit in the 10th frame. As you see Walter extend through the shot, he likes it, trying to drive the pin straight back, didn't quite get enough ball speed, leaves the 4-pin. Now he has a possible 222, Goebel going at a 225 pace. 10th frame coming up.
This is our second telecast in a string of 14, and Walter Ray's fiancée, Paige Pennington, whose heart is a little bit set on San Diego Chargers. Walter Ray as well. This is our very first game. Chris Warren follows, then David Husted, and our tournament leader is a lefty named Ricky Ward.
Second pin on the right-hand part of the screen, the 6, little love tap on the 10. Walter liked that shot. He'd like to stick another strike right on top of it, cut the lead of Goebel's down to 3 pins, 10th frame. Something I don't see Walter Ray do very often, Chris, and that's go around the ball with a hook turn when he wants to go straight and jam it. He got to swing inside out, turn the ball too much. It broke early, goes high for the 6-pin. Right now, Goebel only needs 9 pins to win the match.
So if that happens, he'll move on against Chris Warren, and Walter Ray will have to be content with the check for $7,500.
Bryan needs 9 or better on this first ball, and it's a lock match. Anything less, he has to mark.
Acknowledgement from the president of the PBA, Walter Ray.
Entertaining match, but the power of Goebel was just the difference on the right-hand lane. Here's where the power wins the match. He's Has the right shot. He sends the ball out. He blows the 5 directly in the 7. The head pin comes across and kicks out the 10. Obviously, he could have gotten a bad break and gotten a 7-10 split. However, the power took over. Wins the match going away. He'll be in the mid-230s. He'll go on to meet another power player, dynamic Chris Warren.
Gets them all, a big 235 to Walter Ray's 212. This ABC Sports presentation of Professional Bowlers Tour will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Bryan Goebel with a 235 and 8 strikes, defeating Walter Ray Williams Jr. 235 to 212. You know, if the health of the bowling industry can be measured by what happens here at the Showboat Lanes, well, it's in good shape. 106 lanes here, always people here bowling, and capacity crowd again here today. Our colleague Nelson Burton Jr. is with the president of the Professional Bowlers Association, Walter Ray. Bo.
Thank you, Chris. Denai, the best bowler in the country, in my opinion, right now. However, he didn't show it out there today. Your shot was pretty straight, but just didn't seem to work, and Goebel was hooking it.
Yeah, in the practice at the end, I kind of lost my reaction, and I really didn't know what to do, and it kind of showed. I thought I had a chance there. I went to the high in the right lane, and then got it out a little bit, and it just kept going. I was really surprised that one shot in the 6th or the 5th frame just went way right. It just caught me by surprise.
Well, Chris, in bowling calculus, when Walter Ray can't hit them, they're tough, but we'll see what these two crankers can do. Back to you.
Walter Ray, a physics major and graduate of Cal Polytech, and Chris Warren, at 115 pounds, continues to throw his practice ball. Chris Warren became really interested in bowling by watching our telecasts. Carried a portable TV around with him when he was a little boy. That's how much interest he had in it. He's one of 10 children, 6 brothers and 3 sisters. But here we go with the second game. First game winner, Bryan Goebel, 235-212. Powerful pocket hit. And the Texan has evened it up.
At 115 pounds, he generates as much power as anybody on the tour, and he gets it from his legs. He gets a good wrist position at the top, but watch him drive through the legs, keep that head steady. And Chris, I just die for this wrist reaction. Boy, he can snap that thing off. Make those pins talk. And what an aggressive shot. Woo!
5 feet 5 inches tall. Attaboy, Dad. He and his wife Maggie. New baby named Dana. A 10-pin on the right lane for Bryan Goebel.
Well, Goebel's had a half a dozen shots in his first game here and as part of the second game that resemble that. The ball kind of rolls out, loses its energy as it comes in the pocket, and he leaves a 10-pin. He's keeping the ball in play, but if a guy throws a big string at him like Chris Warren looks like he might do, Goebel will have to really lean on it.
If you just joined us, we're in Las Vegas. First match, Bryan Goebel defeated Walter Ray Williams Jr. 235-212 with 8 strikes. ABC Sports again bringing you a PBA Tour event to be followed by the Senior Skins Game, then ABC's Wide World of Sports.
The full grip of Goebel, just sticks his fingertips in the ball and snaps that wrist. There was a real strong shot there. He's got a big pocket. He's ripped the rack, he's carried the wall shot, he's tripped the 4-pin. That gives him about 3 boards at the pocket. That's hard to beat. However, Chris Warren has looked excellent in the early going.
3 in a row for Chris Warren. And there is Dana. Dana Elizabeth Warren, 3 months old. Maggie and Chris Warren, her parents.
Chris Warren, the player, the daddy, 1 of 10 children. I wonder if those are in his plans. Got to throw a lot of strikes, that's all I can tell you. It's been perfect so far.
Reaction from the standing room only crowd.
Well, the one thing that's hurt Chris in his career is the one bad shot. And here he gets an unusual shot where he gets 4 pins. And here he has to get the ball over here to the right of the 3-6, drive the 3 over into the 4-7. But the key is to carry out the 9-pin. This is a difficult shot.
3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. Scout didn't deliver. It's an open frame for Chris Warren. We'll take a break and then return.
He's Wide World of Sports.
Takes a little coin and then one hand. Oh, so close. That's why they go back. There are winners also, of course. And here's a winner of our first match, 235-212, Bryan Goebel. He has a 2-pin deficit, but he has a strike up. He can lead by 8. And he does it. Bo Burton.
PBA Tour right now, David Husted. Over $1 million. And David, you're a slow starter. You're in number 2 position. You have any game plan to get out of the gate quickly?
Just that. Try to get out of the gate quick, Bo. The right lane concerns me a little bit. Hopefully I can figure something out. I'm going to try a different ball maybe. The practice didn't go too good, but if I can get by that first match, you never know.
A lot of slow twitch muscles, and if he gets out of the gate in the first game, he could win the title. Back to you, Chris.
Okay. And Bryan Goebel appears that will be a man that may be a problem. Of course, as Bo said, David will be up next meeting the winner of this match, but following an open frame now, Chris Warren shooting in the 5th. There is Mary Warren, the mother of those 10 children we were talking about. Delightful lady. Chris took her to Japan as he won the Japan Cup. He also is the 1990 EBC Masters champion.
Power player Chris Warren, a little drift to the left, and he really saws on it. Watch this, but watch the wrist action. Watch the snap. Here he goes. Makes the adjustment on the left-hand lane for that high hit in the 4th frame. Disappointed with the 10-pin. Has a good technique across lane. Flattens a shot out, throws a rocket over in that corner. Knocks it in. He'll be trailing by 18.
High game for Bryan Goebel this week was 290 and a 162 for a low.
We're talking about David Husted in his practice. He has a few practice shots in between.
Coming up next on ABC Sports, 4 of golf's greatest names teed up in Hawaii. Bryan left the awesome 210. And Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Lee Trevino, and Raymond Floyd. They'll have similar kinds of problems, but on a golf course. The Senior Skins Games. That's next, right here on ABC.
For Goebel, he has to get the ball to the left of the 2-pin, drive it over into the 10. Not a tough shot. I'd say the odds for the pros are 3-1.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And the golfers will dazzle you as well in the Skins Games, though. These pros, incredible.
Good ability, but good technique. You notice the big, powerful hook ball on the first shot. He flattens it out on the second shot, goes for pure accuracy, nails the 2-pin right in the 10, continues to lead in the match by 16. Excellent shot. 7th frame coming up.
Bump now, and that conversion was a big one at the midpoint of this game. Bryan Goebel of Kansas. We'll be back. All right, we're back again in Las Vegas as we look at the tournament leader. Short, stocky, dynamic, colorful, Ricky Ward.
Only southpaw in the field, Chris, and he just kind of walked away from the field. A good, solid technique. But here we have 2 power players stuck in a very tight match. Chris Warren with only 1 bad frame. The 4th frame trails by 16. Coming up in the 7th, he's ready to saw on that ball. The solid grip extends that index finger. And look how he rolls it back in his wrist. That's the key, then drives through with his legs.
Textbook. Just like your tips, Bo.
Sometime. Don Johnson, who is a great Hall of Famer, lives in this area, will be on the bowling tip this week. And that ball reminds me of when Mark Roth was so dominant here at the Showboat. Chris, remember how we could just hear his ball crack the pins? Right now, Chris Warren has that going, but he trails in the match by 16. This would be a big shot.
And true, after all, in 12 years, he has won 5 titles, including the Masters.
I'll tell you, he's worked on his game. He's cut that big loop out of his ball, and now it is talking.
Murmurs.
Well, we heard David Husted say in his practice, and those are the practice shots in between the games, of the hang spot here on the right-hand lane. Once again, it's evidenced by the 2, 4, 8, 10 split as Bryan Goebel doesn't get the ball to snap around, has a very difficult shot, really should just go for 9 here. Which he did.
All right. Also today on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Brian Boitano, Katerina Witt, Christy Yamaguchi, and Peggy Fleming headline an unparalleled group of 39 Olympic gold medalists in an encore presentation of Skates of Gold. And from Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, we'll preview Super Bowl 29. That's at 5, 4 Central, ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Boy, the steam is just taken out of his game as he gets a little bit slower on each consecutive frame, not keeping the ball speed up, drifting high on the left, skidding by on the right, and now he's left himself a 4-pin. The best he can shoot now, if he converts this and strikes out, is 216. Chris Warren has him right where he wants him. The cardinal sin of pro bowling would be for a guy like Warren to let Goebel off the hook right now. If he throws a strike, all he needs is a mark in the 10th to lock up the match. This is the big one.
Thank you very much. Highs and lows of bowling.
I call this a technology strike, Chris. The head pin goes to sideboard. Without today's modern high reactive bowling balls, you cannot get those pins to bounce back in play consistently like that. In a crucial situation, Warren has put himself in a position where he just needs a good count and a mark to lock up this match.
And believe me, he'll be tough in the next game. He always is after doing what he's done here in this match.
It's really tough.
No one is Mr. Clutch on the tour. He proved it when he had a chance to put the nail in the coffin right there in the 10th. Went right to the solid in the hole. It's going to be Chris Warren against the veteran millionaire out here, David Husted.
Oh, the winner in Tucson, Riverside, and Peoria, in Ontario, California, and in Taylor, Michigan, is a step closer to another one. Chris Warren. $221 for the winner, Chris Warren. You know, this week's Choice Hotels Tip of the Week features an accuracy lesson from Don Johnson. Here in Las Vegas, 2 matches, 2 different winners, each with 8 strikes. Goebel 235, Williams 212. Second game, Chris Warren 231, Bryan Goebel 212. Now it's Warren against Dave Husted.
Well, Chris, it's a long week out here. We call it the long format. 7 days of bowling as we look through the players in the top 24. And they bowled 56 games to this position. Brian LeClaire just missed the top 5. Dennis Jakes looks good this year. Wayne Webb strong. Couchman. Jimmy Johnson, his dad's proud of him. Michael Karch set a record, 5 ties in the 24 match game play, all being there. Scroggins had a perfect game. Local favorite David Watka. Roberto Silva from Mexico. I had the good fortune of coaching him for the Pan Am Games, Chris. And some of the other top players round out the top 24 as we've had an excellent week here in Las Vegas.
And we continue on to Grand Prairie, Texas for the $250,000 Quaker State 250. That's a week from today. Then, 2 weeks from today, we go south to Florida for the $275,000 Choice Hotels Classics. And don't forget that we have a unique format here, and it includes 5 PBA Senior Tour point qualifiers with the newly crowned Choice Tournament champion facing the Senior Tour roll-off winner for a $25,000 bonus in the Winning Never Gets Old Challenge final game. That's 2 weeks from today. Don Carter Lane, Sunrise.
Chris Warren will lead this match off, but David Husted will have to pull on all his bowling knowledge, I think, to stay in this match. He just doesn't have the right shot for this pair, and Warren's loose. Let's see what happens.
Seven pin untouched.
Wow. Hard to believe that you can throw half the rack at the pin and it not get knocked over. Watch, the head pin goes to the left sideboard. The 5 pin will just go jumping in front of the 7. Head pin across the side. No strike, easy spare.
All right, Chris can rest. And now here's the 34-year-old Dave Husted from Milwaukee, Oregon.
Look, he's already kind of giving a little Kentucky windage on this right-hand lane.
It worked.
Husted, just a classic style, but the best part of his game is determination. You can see the grit in his teeth. Perfectly straight arm swing. He'll drive all the way through. And now watch the extension as he comes through the shot, reaches well out on the lane. That keeps the ball on line, farther down the lane, improves your accuracy and power.
Double, the man that won here in 1991. Now Chris Warren, having marked with a spare. First frame, shooting in the second, right lane. Pins separating these two pros. This is our semifinal game. Left-hander Ricky Ward continues to stay loose and warm off to our right on the practice lanes. He, of course, will meet the winner. All even. But remember, Husted has a double working, shooting in the third frame. 3 in a row to the man that won 2 tournaments last year on an abbreviated schedule in Kennewick, Washington, and Bedford, Ohio.
David Husted, perfect through 3. You'll see just the classic style, perfect lineup. He could bowl in any decade on any lane condition. Right about here, starts here. It's going to be right around the second arrow. Nice and smooth, going for 4 in a row.
Okay. All right, bewildered a bit. Yes, we are in Nevada. We're in Las Vegas, which is home to many things, home to UNLV. There you see it, Vegas Strip. Exciting, and with a breathtaking snow-covered mountain range. Just a small portion, but capacity crowd. Here are the Showboat lanes, 106 total. Championship pair here, 51 and 52. Chris Warren, double up, needs this one. Oh, no breaks at all, leaving the 7-pin again. Because his opponent, Dave Husted, who finished second overall from that field of 241, has a 4-bagger going. Chris Warren is mic'd. All right, here's Nelson.
Thank you, Chris. The man who finished 4th, Bryan Goebel. It was a good run, Bryan, but the right-hand lane, which we've said is the tougher of the 2 all day, was your undoing.
Yeah, I had to get the ball out towards the gutter to get it to hook, and through 3 shots in a row that I just trying to get all over the ball. I tugged them all 3. 1 struck, the other 2 I paid the price.
You're a great player. He's ranked 4th in the world, and you'll see a lot of him. And now back to you, Chris.
We'll vote for that, Bo. Better fortune on the left lane for tiny Chris Warren of Dallas. He'll be headed for Grand Prairie with all the other pros. Many of them already on their way and there to see Jeannie Halsey and her crew. High ahead, he averted the split, but he's left the 6-10. From a bowling family, his father Champ and his mom, proprietors, 2 lanes in Oregon. And a spare, 5th frame. Bo?
Thank you, Chris Schenkel. Tricky Ricky Ward, tournament leader. What do you got up your sleeve for these guys? You're the only lefty out there.
Well, as my bowling instructor Rusty would say, it's time to get to business.
And you're going to go right after him?
1 frame at a time.
He's a winner. He's a game plan. He's going to go hard and straight with every shot, Chris. He's going to be tough, but we still have the semifinal at large.
All right. Little body English by Dave Husted on that shot. Strike coming in the 6th frame. And it was his 5th strike in as many, in 6 frames. So now Chris Warren, strike up. Shooting in the 6th.
This is on this striking on this lane 1 time. That's been the key.
It isn't a 7, it's a 10 for Chris Warren.
Putting pocket on this lane now, that's good. At least you got the pocket on this lane. It's not helping out. Doubles.
Not much you can do about a 7-pin in the 1st frame, 2 good hits, another 7-pin, a strike, and a 10-pin. Chris Warren is doing the best he can. A lot of power, keeping it under control. Has had no good breaks at this point. Once again, this happens a lot with Chris. His hands slightly perspire. We've seen this before. He has enough cognizance and feel of his game to stop, slow down, get a good grip on the ball again. So he'll once again get that hand nice and dry, make sure that he makes that 10-pin.
All right.
Hard and straight, full grip.
Nineteen pins separating the 2 in the semifinal game. Pinfall, a practice shot by Ricky Ward.
Chris Warren does something in the sports world on bowling that not many players do. He charts the lanes. That means each week he marks down what he did on a particular lane. We're on 51 and 52, and he can always check those charts and see how to play them. Zeroed here.
Okay, we're in the semifinal game. Chris Warren trailing Dave Husted by 19. More action after this. Universe. A long time.
Eugene Reynolds, in his 80s, invented the first automatic scores in 1922. Sold the patent for $100 and had obviously a lot of other patents, and has been a very innovative man in our industry. In fact, the reason he, as you look at Harry Golden sitting right next to him, the longtime tournament director of the PBA, the reason Mr. Reynolds invented the computer was for arguments over score sheets. So we don't have any arguments anymore, but this match is still arguably who is going to win this thing. It's a tough match, 19 pins difference.
Okay. Now, Bo, you said he sold it for $100 in 1922?
Well, that was the original patent. He told me
right.
He has other patents that came by. There was a little more temporal reward to
I
those.
hope so. You can't wear sport jackets like that unless there's some cash in the hip, you know?
You bet.
Well, David Husted is living right today. He's had some nice breaks.
I'll tell you, David Husted, leaning on his experience, almost gets a bad break as he leaves a solid 9. It's the last pin to go over. But he's doing something different than anybody else out there. He's playing an inside line on the right-hand lane and just roping that ball right to the hole, playing a little more hook on the left-hand lane. And with this technique, he has gained a 29-pin lead through 7. Drifts high, leaves the 3-pin. Needs to get the ball to the right of the 3-pin. Have the ball deflect into the 10. Player of his caliber should make it almost every time. If he makes it, he'll continue to lead the match by 27. If he doesn't, the match is up for grabs. Open the door for Chris Warren. And there's a time in every match, Chris, as we well know, that you have to jump on it. Here you can see the 16-pound ball doesn't quite deflect enough into the 10-pin. The door is open for Warren. He can cut that lead down to just 5 pins. Here we go, 8th frame. This is the lane he likes.
Dancing off the deck on that popular right lane for Chris. Next Saturday at 3-2 Central, the Professional Bowlers Tour heads to the Lone Star State. 2-time defending champ Steve Hoskins eyes a Texas-sized purse, Quaker State 250. That's next Saturday, Professional Bowlers Tour here on ABC. Back to our regular time then, too.
Chris Warren, 9th frame, can take the lead for the first time in a match.
Our regular time being 3 Eastern, 2 Central.
What this sets up a situation where David Husted, going at a 2:24 pace, has a possible 2:44. Warren a possible 2:49. High-scoring semifinal match up for grabs.
Terrific comeback following that miss.
Key shot for Husted there. Sets himself in a position where once again he can retake the lead. It's back and forth. It's going to be who can perform in the 10th frame. Here we go.
Here's the 9th ranked millionaire. It's behind Weber, Holman, Albee. Such greats. Two-time United States Open champion, won the World Open, the Touring Players Championship as well.
Studley, David Husted, kind of giving Chris Warren the decoy shot there, Chris. You know, that was a shot to take the lead, and he kind of just had a lackadaisical attitude. Now he can put a little nail in the Chris Warren coffin, but never shut it if he can strike here in the second ball in the 10th.
Okay.
Match well bowled by Husted. He's going to have 233, forcing Chris Warren to strike on the first ball in the 10th.
It was painful for Michelle, his wife, and Corey and Chelsea Renee, 2 children.
Everybody does something a little better in one part of the game than another player out here if you're a winner. Chris Warren has good power, good control, but he's built his reputation on being able to strike in the clutch. He was Mr. Clutch on the tour in 1990. He needs one of those clutch strikes right here on this ball to win the match.
Re-rack. Here's the shot.
A little too much power. David Husted creeps by, is going to win the match, probably 233 to 228. There's nothing Warren can do. Spare and strike will leave 228. It's going to be David Husted against our tournament leader, Ricky Ward, in the championship.
What terrific bowling today in 3 matches.
Boy, Chris Warren bowled so well that match. Every ball in the hole with all that power.
Figure out how to get it to the pocket. No strike. No X's.
Well, Chris, you did a great job. Shooting at 227 to the winners 233, so it's Husted and Ricky Ward. This ABC Sports presentation of Professional Bowlers Tour will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Here in Las Vegas, 3 tremendous matches. Look at them. Each of the winners in the 230s, each with 8 strikes in their victory. So now it's come down to David Husted going against the tournament leader, left-hander Ricky Ward. And Nelson, it has been an exciting afternoon with a high average on that championship pair.
You're right, Chris. It's been very close matches. The players have averaged 225. The championship match is going to be interesting. The only southpaw in the field, Ricky Ward, going against the veteran David Husted. Husted is my pick. He's very tough.
Who do you like in the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl, I got to go with Tom Gatewood, our resident All-American up here. He says that the best bet if you want to bet on the Chargers is bet on the coin flip. So you can read it from there.
Well, they got some great champions out there for that coin flip, like Otto Graham, Ray Nitschke. A few nice people, and of course all on ABC television exclusively. Lots of football tomorrow. Skins game after us, and then Wide World. So, there are all kinds of people that bowl, as we've often told you, including other professional athletes. Some of them bowl for fun and then also raise some money. Bobby Bonilla, the New York Mets, had quite an outing in Manhattan. Let's take a look at the highlights of it right now. 14 of Major League Baseball's best players, real all-stars, gathered last month in New York City for the 2nd annual Bobby Bonilla All-Star Bowling Classic. Bowling's Mark Roth was on hand with some advice for a future Baseball Hall of Famer. Last name, Puckett. Pretty good form, too.
Kirby, come here. In baseball, you have to be a pull hitter.
Yeah.
In bowling, you pull, you miss the headpin, and you don't throw strikes.
All right, thanks. Thanks, bro. All I got for you.
Yes, Ozzie Smith and Ken Griffey Jr. won the event, which raised over $100,000 for the National Hispanic Scholarship Fund, a fact that made the evening's host more than happy to strike out. Bobby Bonilla, watch his form.
Oh, money in the bank. Money in the bank. Money in the bank.
My new future doubles partner, Marshall.
That's what I'm talking
He's
about.
a little bigger than you are. He'll take care of all of our opponents.
I hear you. I hear you. Give it up.
Hey, Bobby, if you don't go back to playing baseball, there won't be that much money in the bank. So you guys get back and play the game. Thanks for bowling, though.
35 years ago, first prize was $3,000. Today, $37,000. David Husted, the veteran, going against Ricky Ward.
David Husted now, renewed confidence, no doubt. In his second match of the afternoon, having just eliminated Chris Warren, 233 to 227. Now here is Ricky Ward. 39th last week in Reno. Ricky led 3 rounds this week, after the 3rd, after the 6th, and of course final 7.
Ward, excellent technique. He's 5 feet 7 inches tall, low to the ground. And watch how he comes through the ball so smoothly, but just lays it at the foul line. Watch how smooth it is and gets a nice even roll. Almost behind the foul line, starts with a great shot on the right-hand lane. The match is even after 1.
Even the best have that happen.
Well, he lost that ball at the bottom of his swing. There is no doubt. Watch as we come through the pivot step. Now on the downswing, he just loses the ball off his hand, doesn't get the fingers underneath the ball to lift it out of the lane, slides off into the channel, and really there will be no penalty hardly other than not the ability to strike if he can make the spare. It's good as 9 if he makes the spare. That's disaster.
Ricky Ward.
Boy, what's going through his mind, Chris, huh? Tough way to start. Well, he'll have to regroup, and if he can, but let's see if Husted even gives him a chance. Knowing David, he'll be aggressive right here, try to get him down 30 or 40 pins right out of the get-go.
Well, he does it. The money category difference of $18,000 winning or finishing second. Husted going for his 11th title. Ricky Ward for his 2nd.
Ricky Ward needs to win to get back in the Brunswick Tournament of Champions. Husted seeded into it with his 10 victories. The choir boy sang a cappella in the high school choir. Still looks like he's a high school kid.
He and Parker Bone Jr. have a lock on the Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award, and they deservedly win it.
Well, key shots for Ricky Ward, our tournament leader. He trails by a bunch, a handful, and he has had a disastrous second frame. Let's see if he can regroup.
Oh, boy.
He's in pain. Mental pain.
Case of jittery nerves for Ward in the opening going, and he's just tentative. You have to be aggressive as a tournament leader. I think the classic example, Chris, was the very first tournament we did this year, the AC Delco Classic. Stayrook coming out, being very aggressive, took the title. That's what Ward needs to do. He needs to regroup, get aggressive. He's in this area, going to be in this area, very little hook, right around between the first and second arrows. He trails by 34, 4th frame.
Just another 6-pin. We asked him about his Super Bowl choice. And he said the 49ers, of course, because Deion Sanders. And he went to the same high school, same art class. This is a championship match in Las Vegas. This break, and we'll return. Keno at the Showboat. It's only a few steps from here, believe me. And also a few steps from our broadcast location. The championship pair where David Husted finished 2nd overall, won his match over Chris Warren, 233 to 227, is in the final game against Ricky Ward, who had a disastrous start. 3 in a row for Husted. Four-bagger.
Well, Husted's doing to Ricky Ward what the great Dick Weber was always known for. When you get a young player, a little bit of inexperience, something disastrous happen in the early going, is not giving him a chance to regroup and get back in the match. Right
Ricky.
now, excuse me, Chris, a 45-pin difference.
Ricky losing the ball in the channel, second frame. 3-6.
David, who had been playing the tight line to the 1-3, sends this one a little bit wider on the left-hand lane. It grabs earlier, drifts high, avoids the split, has the 3-6 spare. A rocket shot across the lanes. Don't slide by. Woo!
So now Ricky Ward is up.
We haven't had a missed spare this week in the telecast, as almost happens by David Husted, who has a commanding 43-pin lead. We've had some opens on splits, but the players have been perfect on spares. Now let's see if our tournament leader can show his stuff.
Like that. Young 26-year-old left-hander, 5'7", 165 pounds. Asking Kevin Shippey, our coordinator, for a re-rack on the left lane.
And what he sees, really, and you can see it right there, the head pin is a little bit set to the left of the 5-pin. It makes it harder for the ball to dig deep in through the pocket. You're allowed 2 re-racks in a match. He takes one. And right now we look at his grip, the full grip. And right now he also does not have the luxury of not striking in this frame.
Very quiet now, where normally he shows you that he's having a good time bowling. There's nothing good about a channel shot. Nothing.
Well, that double makes David Husted think. He's experienced, but at least he knows that Ricky Ward's still there. The uncanny ability of David Husted to fill the frames, especially when he's ahead. He's always been a good front runner. Once he can win the first game, he won his semifinal match against a very tough Chris Warren, and right now he's in a position to garner his 11th title if he can keep striking, but Ward is waiting in the wings.
David opened with a 4-bagger marked with a spare, then a double.
All right, let's take Ricky Ward off the sheet. He has the ability to throw all the strikes. He can shoot 245. Right now, David Husted going at a 238 pace, but it is absolutely mandatory he keeps striking. What's the old saying, pal? If you didn't have bad luck, you'd have no luck. He has the bad second frame, and then just an excellent shot, which could vault him right back in the match. He leaves the solid 8. Ball just does not respect these 3-pound, 6-ounce pins. Drives right by. Tough break in a critical situation.
Ricky hangs in there, the pro that he is, young as he is. Remember, he led 3 rounds here.
Let's give him credit. He has come back in the last 3 frames from that second frame. He's regrouped, and he just got a very bad break there, but it's not over. He has to strike all the way out to have any chance right now over Husted. When you lose the feel of a bowling ball, you cannot perform well. He is losing the ball on the bottom of the swing about every second or third shot. He doesn't usually squeeze the ball very much, and right now he has dug himself a deep, deep hole. Tough spare shot here.
Almost made the 1-3-7-9. Almost.
Partner David Husted surely has not squandered his chances here. He's just putting him away. 59-pin lead can make it 69. The match is over.
And in Milwaukee, Oregon, there's some cheering going on. Behind David there, Mrs. Jack Cook. Jack being the general manager of the Showboat Lanes. Nice loose stroke.
Well, Ricky will be back. He has a great arm swing, a good attitude, and he'll be the first to admit that there was a pretty good shot there. He just did not have the feel, did not have a couple of shots go his way. And a man who said he's going to be a part-timer out here, that's 10, 15 tournaments a year, David Husted has won our 3rd championship round of the year.
And Ricky Ward, his PBA victory came in the Johnny Petraglia in North Brunswick, New Jersey, one of our tough tournaments.
Well, he was very aggressive in that performance. He defeated Kelly Kaufman, the power player, and then when we used to have the King of the Hill match, he went out and shot another 260 and took over as King of the Hill. So he's done very well out here, and he'll be back. However, Husted was just too much for him today.
Almost disbelief on his face.
In bowling, as you've always said, Chris, one bad frame can be disastrous, and obviously it happened in this match. The second frame, Ricky Ward's going to be right at 199, not a bad score, but he let David Husted off the hook early in the match, and Husted took advantage.
Bowling that game where if you make an error, you can never recover, make up for it. There's your Las Vegas champion of the Showboat, David Husted. Big victory for him. Big indeed. We'll be back to talk to him. Dave Husted, our winner. $37,000. Second victory here at the Showboat. Ricky Ward, tough break for him with $19,000. Chris Warren, Bryan Goebel, Walter Ray Williams Jr. For a man that's on an abbreviated tour schedule, you are something.
I should have announced my retirement about 6 years ago, I think. Good things have happened lately.
Was there any reaction, you think, in Milwaukee, Oregon?
Oh, my dad's probably jumping right out of his chair.
Probably with a tear in his eye as well. And, of course, your family. Those 2 children?
Yeah, Corey and Chelsea. Daddy will be home tonight. I love you.
We love you, too. All right, Jack Cook, general manager here. Showboat and a pal of ours. How about that check right now?
Davey, congratulations. You bowled great all week. 18 300s in the tournament. Titles number 7 and 11. You've won here at the Showboat. That's pretty appropriate for Las Vegas. Congratulations, Davey. Here's your check for $37,000.
Wow. Boy, I'd just like to thank everybody here at the Showboat, Jack Cook and his staff. You know, it's been 36 years, I believe, we've been coming here. And it's kind of full circle for me. I made my first TV show here in 1979. And here I am 16, 17 years later, still doing it. I love it.
I'm going to give you a quick break here, and we'll come back for the trophy. But let's join Nelson Burton Jr. and Ricky Ward. Bo?
Well, thank you, Chris. I don't think it's totally full circle for David Husted because this won't be his last show here, I'm sure. Hey, Ricky, kind of a tough go out there, but I thought you'd really be tough in the championship match, but that second frame, what happened?
There's not much going to come back from that brown board. But I had a great week. The Showboat, they treat you great. Dave, he bowled excellent today, and I'm looking forward to coming back next week, and let's try it again.
If you had to do it again, it looked like you were kind of losing the ball on the downswing and really playing a precipitous outside line. What would you do if you had to do it differently?
Well, basically this week I've been playing more of an inside-out follow-through, and I tried to do a little different game plan and go a little more up the boards, and second frame kind of threw a curveball in it, and I just really never recovered, and then 8-pin really kind of like slammed the door.
Well, you tried to come back. He's an excellent player, and back to you, Chris.
Jack Cook, how about this magnificent trophy?
Well, we're probably going to have to ship this one to Dave. I don't think he can take it back to Oregon with him, but
I'll be looking forward to it, I can tell you that.
What is your schedule now, young man?
My schedule is to catch a plane here in about 3 or 4 hours and go home, and then fly down to Grand Prairie Tuesday morning and try to give them hell down there.
And I think you will, the way you were bowling here. Congratulations again. Second victory here. You're a great champion.
Appreciate it very much.
See you soon, Jack. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, Quaker State 250. Well, I've got an extra minute. Anybody want to be interviewed? What are your plans when you're not going to stroke on the lanes? Are you going to run those 2 bowling centers?
Yeah, I think so. My family's been in the bowling business since the late 50s, and we have 2 small centers, a 16-laner and a 24-laner, Milwaukee Bowl and Kellogg Bowl. God, I plugged them on national TV, didn't I? That I'm learning the day-to-day operation a little bit more now, and hopefully my dad deserves the rest, and my mother and him can enjoy their golden years.
You know, the seniors skins game follows us, and then Wide World of Sports, but then on this Super Bowl weekend. Tomorrow is the big Super Bowl here on ABC. And I'm not going to let you go to Grand Prairie or Milwaukee, Oregon, without telling me the winner of the game tomorrow.
Niners, 28-24.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, from Bob Burton, I'm Chris Sankel in Las Vegas. We'll see you 1 week from today. Watch the Super Bowl tomorrow, ABC.
The executive producer of ABC Sports is Jack O'Hara. Today's telecast of the Professional Bowlers Tour was produced by Carol Letty. Directed by Larry Camp. Technical Director Michael Carmen. Associate Director Margaret Schaefer. Production Manager Joe Alvarado. Technical Manager Claude Phipps. Stage Coordinator Tom Gatewood. Assistant to the producer Steve Shunk.
See you next week in Dallas. That's Grand Prairie.